So let's see. Where did we leave off then on college? Oh, we're going to Gophers. All right. We're going to be sad. Yes, Gopher season over. Way worse than BU's. I have to say that because I just made you go through the whole BU downfall. It just sucks because there's a lot of things that could have gone differently this year. Do I think the Gophers were going to win the Natty? No. But should this have been a team that barely squeaked in the top 30 of NPI? No. Like they deserved a better fate. They had the hardest strength of schedule period. They lost ridiculous amounts of players, which we'll get into here in a second. I know Mateo has graphics ready, but like this is a team on paper that should have been better. The goaltending was figured out. Like DePasquo is the guy, and he will be that guy next year. He is legit. I am curious to see whether or not Ari stays. I would put my betting money on him staying because he loves the team and the community. Like he's already married, and his wife.
It's so funny to me.
It is strange. It's different, but really good kid. Like it was very fun sitting down with him and Soulier. And of course, the goalie coach when Isha and I did last summer. But I feel like if things go the way we would expect this summer, I don't see any flight risks of like meaningful players outside of, I guess, Tanner Ludke. Like there's a lot of guys that are on the fringe of this roster that will leave. I think on the blue line, no one's leaving. If anything, we need to find a way to add OHL or transfer portal. I think forward group, like if Zemer left, whether it was getting big NIL money in a different school or going pro, that hurts. Mooney somehow leaving, that hurts. Outside of that, I think this roster is staying intact outside of the seniors leaving. Mm-hmm. And then you bring in a Christian Humphreys like we talked about. We've got some colon injection. I think this is a team that's going to not necessarily be like immensely better than this year, but everyone's a year older and you didn't lose a ton outside of Cal Thomas and Luke Middlestat. That is a big blow. The blue line has some things to be figured out, but the goaltending is there. The forward group is there. This is a team, when you look across the Big Ten at players that are going to fall by the wayside going pro, the Gophers could be right back in the mix next year. Mm-hmm. I need Bob to stay. I need Zemer and Mooney to stay. And if that all happens, I have every bit of faith that the Gophers are right back into the mix next year. Let's talk about why it went badly. Oh, yeah, we had 6 notable players leave when I would argue 1 or 2 should have left.
Yeah.
You can even make the argument of 3, whatever, but like there's a lot that went into the demise of the Gophers. Really tough schedule and players being gone. The real question becomes, and we'll never know the answer to this because like they shouldn't share this, if we're being honest. I don't know if the players wanted to leave or if they were coerced into leaving by their agent or by the team. Like, what was the rationale for leaving? We'll never know. But I think it's easy to point and say maybe this year wasn't the year for some of these guys. So, Mateo, let's get into the first one, which is the only one that I can firmly say no one was going to argue against. Jimmy Snuggerud. 55 games played in the NHL this year, 15 goals, 20 assists, and first rookie that's a Gopher alum to make NHL like weekly honors as a top 3 star. I think he had like 5 goals in 4 games and he had some assists piled on top of that. Like we all knew Jimmy Snuggerud needed to leave after his junior year. There's a lot of people that thought he was going to leave after his sophomore year, and he didn't. He stayed, developed his game even further, and was more ready. And I thought that was going to pave the way to more Gophers staying for 1 more year. Did not fucking happen. Didn't. Which is a bummer. And again, I think historically, Chicago, of all teams, has been quick to push people to the NHL. They don't trust college teams, particularly the Gophers. Granted, it's not Lucia anymore, so it is different. But like Letty was basically ripped out of the Gophers because they did not trust his development there. I think Rinzel and Moore leaving, I think it was a package deal. Like they came in as freshman roommates together. They were both drafted to the Blackhawks, which is fun. They were a whole big media sprint for the Blackhawks. You were never going to see Rinzel leave without more following. So I get that. I think both of them could have stayed. I understand Rinzel, though, doing what he did, even though it wasn't as great. So let's transition to that one. Rinzel, this year, 38 games played, 3 goals, 9 assists, which, like, we've talked about it with defensemen for the Wild. You cannot judge them this early based on points or production or anything you see. Like, it's early, it's growing pains. But he's also played 23 games in the AHL, 2 goals, 12 assists. Like, tweener, I get it. Again, I'm not going to fault Rinzel for going. He was the other one with Snuggerud that I thought would probably go. It's the rest of the group that I was a little bit more concerned. But just generally, from your perspective, Z, if you were Rinzel, would you have gone pro? And beyond that, like, what do you think of what he's done this year?
Yeah, I mean, I was 50-50 when he left. I think when you look at, I mean, like, actually, and it's what's just funny, like, sticking with Chicago, I think someone like a Lev Shunov should have done one more year at least at Michigan State. Yeah. I think any college defenseman, minimum 2 years, unless you are literally, like, just out of control good. Like, I mean, if you've, like, proved that you're the best player in college hockey as a freshman playing, like, I get it.
Look at Power. He stayed.
Right. I mean, McCarr did 2 years at fucking UMass. You know what I mean? Like, so this is just like where we're at. Like, I think Rinzel, with how good he was to playing college hockey, his sophomore season at fucking Minnesota was
first half. First half was sick, and then he tapered off hard.
Yeah. Fair.
I couldn't have been higher on him the first half of the year. Like, I was absolutely.
There was a very weird year. There was a very
second
weird
half,
year.
He kind of just like gave up.
That second half of that year in Minnesota was weird.
Agreed, but he was the like peak of the weirdness.
Yeah, and I think he would have benefited maybe from another year. And like, there's also no reason to go play in the NHL with Chicago right now as a young defenseman. So like, I think
probably assured he'd get more time, and it didn't happen.
Well, I mean, either way, like also like they've had a couple like dumpster fires as far as like some of the young defense, like young players coming in, but like young defensemen specific. Like, I mean, look at like Korchinski they rushed him in too.
Is he available?
I don't know. Well, I don't know. It's possible, but like that hasn't gone well.
Interesting.
He got rushed in, so I think there's just been a couple guys that they've rushed really fast, and like it's weird that they've done it to some defensemen, and like we'll talk about Oliver Moore in a second, but like who's a forward, obviously. No, I do know that. I do before, like I was talking about defense, I was like, and we'll talk about Oliver Moore as well. I do know he's not a defenseman, guys. Yeah, so I think when Rinzel signed, I was like 50-50. I was like, probably could have benefited from another year of college hockey, like any young defenseman, but I did understand it to a certain extent. But
yeah.
Again, for me, it's more so just like with where that Chicago team was, I was like, I think maybe you could have benefited from just playing another year of high school. Like, people forget too, like this is a kid that like Chicago took a swing on in the first round out of high school. What was he, 26th? I think it was 24th, 25th.
I thought 26th, but
I think 25th. I think 25th overall in that first round. But I thought they were in a spot where they could benefit from just like letting him cook in college hockey for a little bit. So that being said, 2 years usually the time when they go for a first rounder, but he's that young.
25th overall.
It was 25th, yeah. His June birthday, I was like, he could probably benefit from another junior year. Like, also, why are you like forcing him to come play? Like, he played a cup of coffee after he signed. It looked really good too. And beginning of this NHL season, he made a ton of really good plays as well. And then Chicago just threw up against it here. So I think he probably would have benefited from another year of college hockey. I also don't really think it's
I
gonna be anything that's gonna alter
absolutely
his
thought he
career.
would benefit, but I wasn't shocked he left. He's not among the group. I'm not like shocked or bothered that he left. I was like you 50-50.
Yeah. So again, I think I'm not gonna possibly judge like his future off of this year or whatever. And again, like beginning of the year, I thought he looked really fucking good beginning of the year. Like I remember he played one of their games against Boston. He was like a fucking animal early on this season. I was like, oh my god, like,
He'll be a long-term top 4 defenseman for Chicago easily.
Yeah, so it's easy. But
yep.
Yeah. Again, that was just the guy that we were like, I think it would probably be a good idea for him to stay. If he leaves, I get it. But
100%.
That sucked.
So Mateo, next up, we've got Oliver Moore, who shockingly has actually stuck in the NHL more, and I don't mean that as a pun on last name, more than Sam Rinzel. 51 games played, 5 goals, 14 assists. AHL, 9 games played, 6 goals, 3 assists. Oliver Moore, I thought, could have come back and dominated college hockey and really ascended in a different way. I thought him going pro was premature, but again, it's not like he couldn't do it. And again, when your freshman roommate is Sam Rinzel, you're both drafted to the same team and everything is promoted around both of you going to the Blackhawks. I feel like this was a pressure situation. How do I say no? Why wouldn't I go? Type of thing. It's like, I blame no player for going pro. I just hope they do it for reasons that are in their control versus the team forcing you. So like if his whole thing was like, holy shit, me and Sam can go together. We're boys. I want to make that pro payday. Like, I respect it. If it was the Blackhawks forcing him out, fuck you, Chicago. It's basically where I land.
Yeah, I kind of feel like a lot of the time too, it's the team like, yeah, we'd like to sign you right now. And they're like, yes, because they never know what's going to happen next year or whatever.
Totally.
I always wonder about that, but same time, yeah, that was another one. I was like, I probably would have waited another year, but whatever.
He wasn't 50-50 for me.
The thing is, like, it's just the fact that it's Chicago. Like, I don't if they really wanted their college kids to sign right away, I don't understand that, to be honest, because like they probably would have just benefited from letting those young kids to keep developing where they were developing and keep playing where they're playing, and then not ask them to go play in the NHL at the same exact time. Like, I mean, like they had Korchinski, Moore, Levshunov, and Sam Rinzel play the same team at a certain point. It's like, what are you doing? Like, you're still bad. And like Frondell wasn't even like, people were like, maybe Frondell makes the team out of camp. And I was like, if he does, that's a problem. Like, that's a big problem if Anton Frondell makes the team out of camp. Like, I don't understand what your goal is here. So same time, I still having the same boat as just being like, yeah, I would have probably been like, yeah, one more year, but who knows? If a team's like, yeah, we'll sign you right now, the player's always going to be like, yes, unless they push early, like, I want to play one more year. Then usually, if that offer's there, they're going to take it because they never know what's going to happen next season. Right. But I still think his draft pedigree was high enough, though, that like he could have. I don't think he would have had any reason to be worried about what's going to happen if he doesn't play well, because he was always going to. But again, it's funny too. Look at his underlying
Wild
number.
Should have drafted him. Wild should have drafted him, and it would all be fixed. If only they didn't draft where they drafted.
There are certain bits we're going to have to let go of eventually here.
I can't believe the level of anger that fans had that the Wild didn't take a player that was taken before they had a pick. Like, it's insane.
He was sitting right there.
I do love Oliver Moore, though. Really good kid.
His defensive metrics are really good.
Anyone. But I do think another year of college would have done him well. Next up, Mateo.
That poor bastard, by the way, decided to fight Alexander Nikishin Nikishin on his own birthday.
Tough.
Got fed his lunch. Hey, good, good for him for doing it.
Next up is Matthew Wood. Played 55 games so far this year, 14 goals, 10 assists, AHL 5 games, 1 goal, 3 assists. It's funny because like the games that Matthew Wood popped off, he has popped off and stood out. Like he's had a hat trick game, he's had a couple of multi-goal games. He's played well, and I feel like he's a guy that like was a weird tweener where like he could play in the NHL and no one's gonna bat an eye. He's not gonna be a standout, but like he can fit in because of the way he reads the game. But also like another year of college would not have hurt him either. I really held out hope that he would stay, and I didn't know because he came later in the whole process of like people announcing. I wondered if he might have stayed if other guys did. I don't know for sure, but he went done and done. I assume you're with me that he probably would have benefited from another year of college.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to argue.
I mean, if Kurth stayed, him, Kurth, and Jimmy, best fourth line in existence.
Yeah, great bit. One of our favorite bits. That being said, it's hard to argue. Like he's looked really fucking good.
He's been solid
in his games. In obviously you mentioned like he's had a couple multi-goal games, but even the games where he wasn't necessarily like popping off or like scoring goals, he's looked like an NHL player. I think 3 years college hockey for a kid that's like a big power forward who's got an absolute cannon of a shot. Like I understood it. So this one I'm like, yeah, I get it. What?
Did he play 2 at UConn?
2 at UConn, yep.
Oh, I thought he played 1. All right.
Yeah, no, his draft year he played at UConn.
Okay. Fair. Yeah, he's been solid. And again, he's a guy that reads the game well. I am a little surprised that he's done as well as he has, but I'm very happy for him. Like, really good kid. I am not cheering against him in any way, but damn, 1 more year of college certainly wouldn't have hurt his development, but I understood him going. Him and Rinzel were both 50-50s for me. But, I mean, as we've seen here, plenty left, so it is what it is. Next one, Mateo, we've got, this one really hurt. Chesley leaves. Plays only AHL games, which I feel like he had to have known was likely the case. Now, granted, it is a different story because the Hershey Bears are a prestigious AHL team. They're basically the anti-Iowa Wild. So if you're going to go to an AHL team, like, all the power to you. But this is a guy that could have came in and been the man for the Gophers this year. He could have been quarterbacking the power play, could have been munching minutes there with Luke Middlestat. I was not surprised because of the person, because I know Chesley, like, it's kind of been an eye on going pro. But damn, if he couldn't have been the guy for the Gophers this year if he stayed. And I just held out hope that he would stay for that reason, since there was no room for him to be a pro with the Capitals.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah. So that's where I think it's at. It's like, for Minnesota, it's like, sir, please, sir, stay, please, sir. Same time, he left. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. 3 years.
No,
just abs. Played 3 at Minnesota.
Did he play 3?
Yeah.
I thought it would have been his junior year this year. Oops.
No, last year was junior.
All right.
I was like, yeah, no, I get it. It wasn't surprised when he left. Again, Hershey, when he got drafted with the Caps, I was like, God damn it, he's gonna be so good. I already knew he was gonna be a legit NHL player eventually one day, and I was like, fuck. The Caps took him. I was like, that's about as good a spot as you could be in. It's like any young prospect. And again, like, he'll probably be in Hershey for another year or two. Before he gets to the NHL. So, and again, he's gone. Defenseman. So, but yeah, no, I thought either way, like, it would have been awesome for Minnesota, obviously, if he stayed. But for him, I was like, it's not
absolutely a junior. Fuck. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, no. So I was like, yeah, no.
Cut me off. Cut me off.
Cut me off. Bartender.
I don't know why I was so convinced for a second that he was a sophomore, and now I'm like, oh yeah, no shit, he was a junior. Why did I think he was a sophomore for a second? Yep. But still, I thought he was not ready to go and make an impact. Like I don't know. I really held out hope he'd stay, but I know there was conjecture internally, like, yeah, this guy wants to go pro, so he's going to go pro, whatever. Mm-hmm. The last one is the one that hurts me the most. It cut me deep. It was Connor Kurth, and it obviously hasn't boded great for him that he's only played in the ECHL this year. I know he got some AHL stints right when he signed, but 53 games, 9 goals, 5 assists. This is a guy that could have made a huge difference with the Gophers and obviously hasn't seen this season transpire the way he had hoped. I feel bad because I'm sure I would think there was a pitch. I would think that the Lightning pushed him, but I don't know. It just sucks to know that he would have been such an impact guy for the Gophers and that things have not worked out for him outside of the Gophers.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy too. Like you look at the 3 years that he was at Minnesota, each year he doubled up in points basically.
He leveled up hard. Like
every year. So you're curious. Like, so when he signed, it was like, oh, I guess like 3 years. I guess that's kind of the standard sometimes.
Yeah.
But you're like 6th round pick. Like usually you stick around for 4, and like sometimes you somehow find a way to like redshirt for a 5th year. I don't know how that works out sometimes, but it does.
And like, hey, have a chance to sign somewhere else if you don't think you're going to work your way up the Lightning lineup, right?
Yeah, and I also strongly encourage everyone to go check out his hockey DB photo. It's got like him with a massive gash on his nose, and it rules. With the Lightning jersey on. So, yeah, no, that one was again. It was like all right, 3rd year. A lot of times this is how this goes, but we'll see if he can stick in the A.
It's a big gash.
5. Yeah, it's a massive gash, like a possible broken nose, and then above that is an old scar, clearly. Which also rules. So Connor Kurth's a beauty. Love him.
I love Connor Kurth. But I'm sad that it played out this way.
Mm-hmm. But we'll see. We'll see with him. See how it goes.
All that to say, I understand why Bob thought he would not be losing all 6 of them.
Mm-hmm. And it's been a thing for a couple of years too. Like, I mean, like the reason guy like Jimmy Clark went early was because was that the year that Logan Cooley signed, and they thought they would have him for one more year, right up until the last.
That was different. He was pressured.
Yeah, I was saying like there was a couple years of Bob unexpectedly losing some big boys in that lineup.